Welcome to my review of Grow, Song of the Evertree, a game that quietly released towards the end of 2021 by Prideful Sloth, best known for their lighthearted adventure game Yonder the Cloudcatcher Chronicles. Grow pits players as the last remaining alchemist with the task of saving the Evertree from an evil called the Withering, and rebuilding the various worlds and towns that rely on this tree from essentially scratch. The game will guide you through an overarching story tying everything together, but day by day you can pretty much do whatever you want. There are a lot of layers to the experience, and I can best describe the game in 3 parts: town building, branch worlds, and exploration. We'll start with my favorite aspect of the game and perhaps the easiest to understand, and that's the town building. Your character lives in a house at the base of the Evertree along with the Everkin, who are a species that kind of oversee your town, the tree, and its powers, but we'll talk about them later. Most importantly though, this home base is actually a relatively large open world for you to freely explore, divided in several districts. These districts, once unlocked throughout the game, can be customized completely to your liking, with houses, inns, stores, decorations, and so much more. All buildings cost Myora, which is kind of an in-game magic currency of sorts earned from creating thriving towns and when farming the different branch worlds, which I will also talk about that later. Visiting residents will fly to any open districts each day, and it's up to you to provide housing for anyone you want to move in, assign them jobs, complete quests, and build friendships. I honestly lost more hours in this game creating little villages and towns, and seeing them all come to life is like a mix between SimCity and Animal Crossing and was extremely satisfying. Also, the way the game lights up at night is honestly beautiful and scratches that city building itch without getting too deep or confusing. You are limited a bit from having caps on how much of something you can place in any one district, but even so, seeing your towns come to life and freely run around them at will is just awesome. So as much as I like the town building aspect to Grow, it's just a small part of the game. And depending on where you want to spend your time, you may enjoy the farming aspect to the game, which takes place in its branch worlds and gives Grow its extra flavor of uniqueness. So as you slowly succeed in bringing the Evertree back to life, you will unlock branches, which in turn are essentially their own subworlds that you can fly to harvest items once they flourish. These worlds grow day by day, accelerated by performing basic farming-style tasks like planting seeds, watering plants, and mining rocks. The big catch is that how these worlds look and how they grow is completely dependent on the seed you plant when first arriving on a new branch of the Evertree. To understand how that works, you need to know that every object in this universe is made up of essence, of which there are 20 different types, like water, prickly, and icy, just to name a few. When using your alchemy skills to brew this special branch world seed, you combine any of the 50 of these essences to do so. The game will then take this seed and randomly generate this special and unique world, some more useful than others. Over several days and weeks of somewhat tedious farming, you'll see your special branch worlds come to life, with unique animals, fish, plants, and other resources. For example, I first tried to create an icy world, and the result was a snowy forest full of Christmas trees, icy plants, and white-colored bugs and animals. Whatever you create, anything that grows can be harvested to bring back to your town, even animals that you can adopt. This really gave the game a no man's sky feeling at times, even if the variety isn't quite as plentiful as it initially might feel like. In addition to your time spent building towns or growing new worlds and farming, you're free to explore the universe at your leisure over a typical day-night cycle. What's cool is that the game really hides a lot for you to do. There are hidden caves to explore, small dungeons with puzzles to complete, festivals to partake in, treasure chests to find, fragments of the song to collect, and even more than that. You can basically just run around aimlessly and you'll stumble upon something interesting. The Everkin, which are the small creatures who kind of oversee your progress, even have their own town where you can trade resources for a currency called Evercoin, which can be used to purchase other items and essences. Some items are super useful, like special batteries to unlock a hidden cave or dungeon somewhere, and other items are just for fun, like a fish or balloon hat to wear or funny decorations to put on your buildings. Regardless of what you do with your time, you can choose to ignore some aspects that you don't really want to spend a lot of time with, like the farming, and the freedom in this game makes it a super chill experience in the end. So I know that's a lot to unpack, but hopefully you have a somewhat clearer understanding of what you will be doing with your time in Grow, Song of the Evertree. It all comes together well, and I mostly only have positive things to say about the experience, but I'll point out a couple aspects that fell a tiny bit flat. For one, the game does take a little bit a while to get going, which is understandable considering it's a strange hybrid of activities, but you really need to get past the first district in Branchworld before everything really starts to click, which is a solid 3 to 5 hours of somewhat slow gameplay. However, when you do get through that portion, it's one of these time-passing games where you'll blink and realize you just spent another several hours lost in this world. There is also no combat in this game. There is plenty of light platforming sections when you're solving puzzles and completing dungeons, but nothing that is difficult per se. This is made to be a lighthearted and laid-back experience, which I personally love, but I also understand if anyone is not completely into that. The only other aspect that wasn't amazing was the repetitiveness when tending to the Branchworlds. This part of the game became a chore at times as I got a bit tired of watering plants over and over again, but this was somewhat offset by seeing which types of seeds I could make and what the resulting trees and overall biome it would create, which was a pretty cool experience to see. In the end, Grow, Song of the Evertree is a fantastic, laid-back exploration adventure game featuring some cool ideas such as town building that elevate it creatively from other games in these genres. It ends up being such an interesting and rewarding mix of the town building, life simulation, and farming games that it is truly unique, and I'm happy I gave it a chance. The price tag is also $30 or less, so it's well worth it with at least 50 hours of gameplay. It's great for any younger audiences, but also really anyone who just wants a relaxing, go-at-your-own-pace style game. Pick this overlooked game up as soon as you can, and look out for the physical release on Switch later this week. Peace out.